Hey, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to look at the True Grit distortion by Zinky amps. So you may have never heard of the True Grit by Zinky amps, and I had not either until I recently picked this pedal up in St. Louis. Now, Bruce Zinky was an amp designer. He designed the little smoky amps that was like the little cigarette cartons, had a little speaker in there. He also worked for the Fender Custom Shop doing amp design, and then also Zinky amps. You've got the Zinky Mofo and also the Blue Velvet amp. He also owned the rights to Supro, and that was kind of like right when the rumblings of Supro kind of getting reborn. This is just barely before that. But this is a classic boutique guitar pedal that was released in 2002. And you can almost see that early 2000s design, early boutique guitar pedal, just the font and the shape of the box and how big it is, all those things. Just aesthetically, it has that early 2000s boutique vibe to it. There is an incredible article written by Lisa Sharkin on this pedal that was in the July 2002 issue of Vintage Guitar Magazine. And here she talks about Bruce Zinky a little bit more and his amps, and then about this pedal. So we're gonna go through and check out what all this pedal has to offer. So let's get into that pedal demo. All right, so here we are with the True Grit by Zinky amps. I'm playing my Les Paul into the Smart Bell Dumble style head, which is on the Little John Caps prototype number 1, loaded with EVM 12Ls, mic'd with a Shure SM57, a U87 clone, and going straight into the Apollo. Here is my clean tone on the neck pickup. So you can hear it's pretty clean, fairly sterile. The mids are in a more flat, maybe slightly pushed position, and kind of setting a really flat platform for this True Grit pedal. We're going to start with all knobs at noon, and there's a boost button here that switches into the high gain kind of channel or mode on this pedal. We're going to start with low gain, then we'll get to high gain after. Let's start everything at noon here. So that's a great, really, mid gain overdrive. The mids sound really good on this. It's pretty rich in just kind of like the very center of the spectrum here. Let's listen to some lower gain sounds, and I'll kind of play around with this grit knob, which you'll hear really affects the top end like a presence, and then how the bass and treble really interact in the tone of this pedal. let's see what a little higher gain, and we're going to kind of keep everything at noon to start here. And then the higher gained up side of the low gain mode. Again, that's a really great early 2000s sounding higher gain pedal. I mean, it's really rich and organic sounding. It feels like it's got a lot of headroom, and that's kind of how it feels to play. You can feel a little bit of like stiffness, but also like it's gonna, you know, keep following you the harder you dig into the strings. So we're gonna switch to the high gain mode here, but I just want to quickly, we're just going to kind of go back and forth and see what the difference is, you know, using this high gain mode as a boost. Big jump in gain. Even with the gain knob turned down significantly, there is a huge difference jumping to this higher gain mode. And that's great, having, you know, being able to go to a huge volume jump, a mid, and definitely increasing gain jump. It's a big jump though, so I don't know how practical it would be going between, you know, such a low gain sound and such a high gain sound. And let's listen to, real quick, just a few more EQ curves on the high gain mode. So it can definitely get real chimey and real bright on that higher gain mode. Man, that is one of my favorite higher gain sounds I've played in a long time. The mid-range is just in the right place for me, to where it feels like it's harmonically rich, and it's really poking through, and it almost borders on a fuzz territory, especially with the bass knob cranked. And it makes me want to play out of pocket, as I was just attempting, just with this heavier, higher gain sound, but it still reacts into my hands a lot more organic. And I just feel like it really sings in that place, and we can even exaggerate that a bit. Yeah, as somebody who is not super comfortable with really higher gain sounds, this pedal reacts in a really organic way, and kind of sings in the mid-range, and it just borders that line on distortion, overdrive, fuzz. It kind of sits somewhere in the middle of all three, and those for me are some of my favorite sounds to play, although I don't ever really do it professionally, just with the nature of who I normally play for, and the gigs and sessions that I'm normally on definitely don't require that much gain or shreddiness ever. However, playing that kind of sound just puts me in a place that I try stuff out of pocket, and that's really what I love about this pedal. It's just the singing mid-range, but really how it makes me play different. And so I would highly recommend checking out this pedal. I think it has some great early 2000s low gain sounds, but it's definitely not your transparent low gain pedal at all. But I feel like it really excels in those higher gain pushed mid-range sounds that really sing and sustain a lot. The way this pedal compresses, I find really organic, and makes it really easy to play. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video on the Zinky Amps True Grit distortion pedal. I really think this is a classic boutique drive pedal that needs a lot more recognition than it gets. The way that I personally have connected with how that mid-range and harmonic content interacts with the guitar in those higher gain settings has been really cool, and it's kind of special when you can make that kind of immediate association with a piece of gear, and ultimately, you know, that's kind of what we're looking for, and all the sounds and tone seeking is to make a really good connection with something, even if it's for a moment. So I would highly recommend checking out this pedal if you're into the really organic high headroom. It gives you the compression at your fingertips, however, a dynamic range that I find that's really unique. And so check it out, and Zinky Amps and the stuff that Bruce Zinky has kind of worked on. It's a really cool and vital part of the gear, you know, from the early 2000s. If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, I please ask that you like and subscribe to this new channel, share it with your friends, and leave a comment on what other kind of gear in early 2000s, pedals and amps and guitars that you'd like to see on this channel. And you can reach out to me on Instagram as well. For now, I've been Colin. And I really, this has been so much talking. Kind of content that you enjoy. Okay, I'm not even been recording. Shit. I'm doing it again. That we're doing these again too. Sound that I haven't been able to achieve. Quickly, I'm going to talk through what I'm playing. We're going to stop it and redo this. And ask that you then ultimately that's why. You know what? We're going to do it all again. Classic, boutique, whatever I called.